I totally get it, man. I love the double date too with
oh, that was so fun
with Lucy, Chloe, and then mom and dad. Well, Chloe's mom and Lucy's dad. That was great.
And we have Rebecca De Mornay. Like the minute that we talked about bringing God in, I'm like, we got to do a double date. By the way, it might have been someone else saying that, but you just like that is so much fun and so awesome. By the way, I have a question: have Chloe and Lucifer time without interruptions? Yes, you will have that.
All right, fair enough. That's cool. Is she still a detective in season 6?
It's a very good question. And that seems like a very interesting story to explore.
There you go. I like that.
Double.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What are
we getting with Ella and Azrael? Because I want that. That is definitely a spoilers territory, so I will not answer that. Can we get more flashbacks of Dan?
Yes, that was a good one, Liv.
Why would you need flashbacks? There's a guy who can go visit him.
Yeah, this is gonna. I can't. Poor Dan. I can only imagine what hell is like for Dan.
Right. Yep. That does seem something worth imagining.
Oh, poor Dan. Jesus.
Let's see. Lucy and Ella's song released soon. Oh, because you're right, because it wasn't on bloody Celestial Jam. Let me ask. Because we released a soundtrack of the musical episode, but that's not on there.
Huh.
Let me check. I don't know. They might be saving it because we have more songs in season 6.
Hey, that's great.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
there
fantastic.
is one song in particular. Oh, it's awesome. It's So we have maybe my favorite one. It might just be because it's new and shiny, but it is beautiful. So.
Someone asked about what would your hell loop be, Joe?
Stuck getting questions from John over and over. My hell loop, it would probably involve being stuck in high school and whatever deep insecurities are related to that. So.
Taking a test, no pants.
Yeah, there it is. Maybe getting network notes season 1. I don't know. Season 5 bloopers and deleted scenes. I know we have them. At the very least, bloopers. So I'm sure they'll get released at some point. I think they try to keep them for moments that can be fun for the fans, and so we definitely have them. Lucifer and Chloe both still seem saddened by his invulnerability around her. Will this be addressed in season 6? That is a great question. Yes.
There we go. Will we see the development of Linda's and Adriana's relationship in season 6?
We'll speak to it, but we pretty much finished that story up. So
okay, man, Linda, great strong arc, man. Way to go. I always tell you, I love Rachel Harris. Everything
Rachel is so good,
and really had a lot to chew on this year. It was a lot of fun. It was great.
It was very important to us to give her an episode that really focused on her, and to just showcase her. I mean, we love showcasing the entire cast; they're all amazing. But at times, Linda is often a vehicle of examining other people, and so it's always important to us to make sure that we remember to examine her as well, because it can feel deceptively like we're always exploring her, when in reality we're drawing everyone else out.
Absolutely. Yeah, her episode was fantastic. And I'm is it Chad, the guy that Dan wanted to set up with
Carol?
Carol, yes. Someone had asked early on. We certainly hope that will continue and develop in season 6.
So this is a perfect example of those things that happen, and then you're suddenly going, okay, is this a bigger thing? So we were introducing Carol, and then and as we were introducing him, we got the call to do season 6 and asking whether or not we would. And suddenly we had this character who was going to be a bit more of a sort of just small role. And then we're like, well, wait, this guy could come back. He might not, or he might. And so I reached out to my friend Scott Porter, who's a very good buddy of mine. And I was like, can you do me a solid? And it was very kind. He watches Lucifer. He loves Lucifer. And he was like, if I do this, do you think I might be in season 6? And I was like, I can't make any promises, but you're awesome. So my guess is, because he's like, I love the show. I'd love to be on it if schedules work out. And Ildy directed the episode. She directed his scene. And she comes to me. She's like, we need to find a story for Scott Porter and for Carol. And so very long answer to say, you're going to see more Carol, and Scott's just the best. So.
Excellent. Detective wants to know, is there a reason to Ella's darkness? I loved God's answer to her about her darkness.
Yeah, it's there's no mythology to it. It's just we liked exploring the idea of this like season 4 was about Ella having a crisis of faith, and season 5 was her crisis of self. It was about her feeling like there's a darkness to her, and we wanted it to be sort of what we all feel at times, that there's a part of ourselves that feels out of control, and it's not supernatural. It's not something special. It's very normal for everyone to feel a darkness, and at times to feel it stronger than others. So that's just it. She's just human, like all of us, and that darkness is what she struggles with every day, like a lot of people do.
Wandering Soul wanted to know if we're going to know why Chloe is a miracle.
We played with explaining it a bunch when she meets God, and then we realized we'd sort of explained it between the season 3 Once Upon a Time and episode 5, which is basically there was someone in Lucifer's path who could be unaffected by his powers, and she was that person that he knew would be in his path, and that's it. She's not any more special than anyone else. There was just sort of a sense that she was going to step into his way, and so let me give my son a chance to be with someone who sees him for who he is, and romantically, friendship-wise, whatever it is, that's their choice.
All right. I love Marcia's question. Why coffee from Bolivia, not from Brazil? Lucy fan Brazil, thinking that would have been a great time to honor us.
You know what? That is a great point. Brazil has been great to us. And,
are they as strong, Lucy?
Oh my gosh,
that's
awesome.
Fantastic.
No, we are very indebted to Brazil because you guys are huge. We do very well in Brazil, and I think Netflix notices. So thank you. I'll try to ADR it and fix it.
What are the other big countries for? I mean, I can see it having international appeal, regardless.
The funny thing is, the biggest countries seem to be pattern-wise heavily Catholic and heavily Christian.
Sure. That's
areas,
interesting. Yeah,
which I think is amazing, and I think it's very telling because at first, we were like attacked as a show that was anti-religion, and then I think what a lot of people found is that our show is very faith-affirming. But also, I think just a lot of people, even if you're lapsed, like I'm a lapsed Catholic, I think it still just speaks to the mythology like some people grow up Marvel people, some people grow up DC people, a lot of people grow up Bible people, a lot of people grow up in churches, and they know the Bible. And so the fact that we're playing in this tapestry that everyone's very familiar with, but at times subverting those expectations, I think gives everyone a sort of built-in familiarity that has been compelling in a way that I don't think we even ever anticipated.
Understood. Someone was commenting.
Ooh, wait. Will Decker Star ever have a proper date? Yes.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
It might still go awry, but they will have a date.
If you had, there we go. If you had to choose one single word to describe season 6, what would it be?
I've been asked this, and I get in trouble for this answer. I'm going to say it anyways. Bittersweet.
I said
because it's ending. Because we love it.
Well, sure, that's true. Regardless, but yeah.
Does COVID affect some romantic scenes? Good question.
Yeah, you read my mind, man.
Early on, we were a little hesitant about it, and then as we got our groove and figured out how to keep people safe. So long story short, there will be plenty of romance. It will not be two people standing 6 feet apart, telling each other they love each other and making air kisses. You still get you get some intimacy. You get, honestly, some maybe more in certain ways than we've ever done. So,
okay. Will we see anything of hell outside of the hell loops?
Anything of hell outside? Oh, you mean like through the hallways? We'll see. We will see more hell in season 6.
I like the hell loops. I think they're interesting.
I love the hell loops. Yeah.
Was it God's plan to have Lucy and Chloe fall in love? Ooh.
I would say, personally, no, because it's not God's plan. But I think that's a little too manipulative. I think God put someone in Lucifer's path and let it be what it would be, and felt like these two would be a match for each other, but also choice. It's all about choice. And I think one of the things we really wanted to hit in season 5B was the idea of choice, and the idea that the reason God is mysterious is because he wanted to be to give everyone choice, and it would frustrate them and it would drive them crazy. But as a father, he wanted his children to be able to forge their own paths. And so we really wanted to hit that sort of the tragedy of his position, which is he wants to love. He wants to be clear. He wants to show his love. But in doing so, is he exerting too much opinion and power because he is God? And Lucifer realizing that, and realizing that the neglect from his father was coming from a place of love and not neglect. Whether or not that was the right choice of the way God did it, that's the way he did it. And at least Lucifer understands it now.
Who decided to include the line? Who decided to? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I don't know who wrote that. Oh, no.
Here it is. Yeah, I got it. Who decided to include the line, "You took the man I love from me. It rattled me to my soul, completely broke me"?
I think I wrote, Ildy and I took turns on the acts. I think I wrote that act, but having said that, the room pitches so much that it could have been anyone but me. We'll go with me. But it could be anyone.
All right. And you chose to make Dan the one that gets eliminated. But really, did you guys think about other possible deaths? Yeah.
This is a great story. So Kevin Alejandro comes in. So what we do is we have every actor come in a couple weeks into the room so that we can pitch them where we see the characters going, but also get their input. We want to have a sense of what we think the story is, while also bring them in case they want to zig or zag a little bit, or they have any thoughts or things we want to speak to. And so when Kevin came in, we pitched him where his character went. And he was like, "That's awesome. That's great." He's like, "Just for what it's worth, I've always wanted to I think it'd be really cool if Dan died. I think just with the arc he's gone on, everything he's done, I just think it would be really interesting if this guy who was the douche in the beginning dies and rallies everyone together, or just is the tragedy of it, or I don't know what." He's like, "But also I'd like to really shoot a death scene." And we're like, "That's cool. We'll take it in mind. We feel really good about where we're going." And then as we kept going, one of the writers in the room was like, "Hey, let's go back to the Dan thing, because that would be really interesting, and it would actually really fulfill his arc." And then there's all this other stuff that is now spoiler section, because it's stuff that we'll dig into in season 6 that it could help with as well. And we were like, okay, this is exciting. So then cut 2, we shoot Dan's death scene. Kevin's all excited. He's devastated and he's all that. We're shooting his funeral, and word starts to get around that we might get a season 6. And there's Kevin Alejandro like, did I just fire myself? Did I just kick myself off of the show? And we had a very honest conversation with him where we're like, "Listen, we have the story to bring you back, and we feel very comfortable about it to bring your in whatever form." Listen, Charlotte Richards, we had Trisha, and we loved Trisha, so we found a way to bring her back. I'm not saying it's gonna be the exact same situation, but Dan as a character is still within our mythology. There is a way to explore Dan because he is in a place that Lucifer can literally go to.
That's excellent.
But Kevin was just like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
Let's see here. More new comments. Oh, will there be another girls' night? Yes, please.
You know what? I do not think we have another one. I think we tried to do one every other season, and so that was the last one. Great question though.
Excellent question. Absolutely. When the devil walks the earth and finds his true love, evil shall be released. And when Lucifer sacrificed himself, he burst into light. Was evil being released as he was saving Chloe?
This is a great question, because I feel like this is something we made subtext and not necessarily as much text as we would have liked to. So, yes, to me, it's basically evil shall be released. The idea is Lucifer is letting go of his own hatred towards himself. He's letting go of his own sense of evil. He is forgiving himself. That was a very big part of it. It's it could be the demons coming out. It could be all those things. There's a lot of different ways to interpret it. To me, it's him starting to, in Super Bad Boyfriend, he says, "Why do I hate myself so much?" And to me, the end of season 4 is him starting to learn to love himself.
Which was a harder emotional scene for the actors to film, Dan's death or Chloe's death?
Yes. Oh, that's a great one. I know Dan's death was really hard. For one, they were in this dank underground tunnel, and Lauren just when Lauren goes somewhere, she goes somewhere all of the way. And I think she actually got sick after shooting that because she just put so much into it. But at the same time, I mean, Tom doesn't phone anything in. So, man, I mean, I would go like this with them. They're both just to me devastating death scenes.
Oh, well, here, Fancy Troublemaker. What was your favorite musical number, Joe?
Having just rewatched, I think Amenadiel and Linda's. I gotta say, like, I was rewatching it. I was like, oh, I mean, I'm a dad. It just hit me. Like, I love all of them, but watching it this time, that's the one that I feel like doesn't get as much attention for being as just sweet and nice and heartfelt and really culminating their story. Rachel's great in it. DB is great in it. And just the fatherhood thing just really, really hits me. So that's my new answer because I literally just rewatched it and I was like, oh.
Okay. And Lakshmi wants to know, will Trixie find out about Celestials?
That's a very interesting question. Let me actually get back to that other question though really quick. So another thing, family dinner, which again was 14 minutes long, that was amazing when it came to what Nathan Hope, the director, did and what Tom did in it, because so much of it was Tom having to be present in both characters, Nathan shooting it in ways that made it feel like they were all in one place, and yet obviously not. And that was it was 2 days straight of shooting. It was supposed to be like a day and a half, and it took longer because it was just so complicated, so tricky. We would just shoot through every single time. So it's like 12 minutes of shooting no matter what. And that just, it eats up a day, but also it was amazing because it was a play. It was awesome.
And people are asking why Lauren didn't sing.
We let everyone choose whether or not they wanted to sing. Yeah.
Okay. People keep asking.
You don't want to put any pressure on people. Like,
oh, sure.
Everyone should be allowed to do what they want to do.
Understood. Absolutely. Let's see. And then will Trixie and Ella ever find out who Lucifer really is? I feel like Trixie kind of knows, and I think Ella should know because her thing is faith.
That's very interesting.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Very good. What's your favorite Deck Star scene in season 5? Decker Star, sorry.
Decker Star scene. I mean, 505. The very end where Lucifer and Chloe come together. Like, I love that scene. I love being able to arc their separation for 5 episodes and then have Chloe be the one to realize what being a gift from God meant and that she isn't the gift from God. And in doing so, make herself vulnerable to Lucifer. That was very beautiful to me. It was a wonderful thing to be able to write. I think they killed it. It was just a great scene to be able to do.
Excellent. Ahmed wants Lucifer and Chloe to call each other certain nicknames. Babe, maybe.
I guarantee there's some nicknames in season 6. I'm not sure which ones they are, but they're in there. So.
Oh, and they're wondering why there were no scenes with Lucy and Eve together.
There was one, and we trimmed it. In fact, maybe there'll be deleted scenes of that at some point because it just felt a little superfluous, and it didn't dig enough into the two of them. But it's funny because breaking that episode, 513, I was insistent. It's got to have Lucifer and Eve. I mean, he hasn't seen her. It's so important. And then when we watched the episode, we're like, this is slowing down the story. It's not about the two of them. It's about Maze and Eve. And so we trimmed it. And don't you worry, we will have a very meaningful Lucifer Eve scene in season 6.
Very cool. Where did God go when he retired?
Disneyland. No, he went to Mom's Universe, which has centaur people. Which, by the way, is a reference to the comic. So there you go. We've been trying to get centaur jokes. In my headcanon, in Mom's Universe, Centaur Dan has been her boyfriend, and now she has to break up with Centaur Dan, and because God's there. So that's my headcanon. I'm sticking to it.
How was it shooting the hospital scene with Trixie?
I mean, I went to visit, and I had to get out of there because it was so sad. Poor Ildy was directing it. I don't know how she didn't just bawl the entire time, and the whole cast was just overwhelmed. Like everyone was already bringing it, but Trixie just brought it to another level. Scarlet,
sure.
Who is your favorite angel?
Yeah, that was the question I wanted to ask. Yes, indeed.
Well, this is an easy one because I think the angel of giving is my favorite angel. He's the handsomest. He's the nicest. He is Hanyobadil, the angel of giving. Scandinavian.
I like it. That's fantastic. And I loved Gabriel was fantastic as a gossip and everything.
That actress is so good. She was so much fun. That she was awesome. That was a fun character to be able to bring in. Joe Fiel was super fun. Like it was Zadkiel. Like it was fun to bring in the family. It was fun to be able to explore it a bit. I loved bringing Remiel back. She was just a wonderful actress. We've been looking for an excuse to get her back. What about Father Frank? So Father Frank, one of my favorite guest actors we've ever had. Coleman's just amazing. He's a little busy right now, but we might have one last reference to him coming.
That's cool. Will we see more angels in season 6? Different angels?
Yes.
Cool. What motivated Lucifer's original rebellion? To God, it's a tantrum, but obviously meant more to Lucifer.
Yeah, I think Lucifer is his own worst enemy. Lucifer is always self-sabotaging, and I think Lucifer felt inadequate. He wanted to be his father, and he wanted to step up. And so I think it was all just his rivalry with his father and his own self-sabotage.
And here, a good question from Detective Ouch. How do you? I assume that's Ouch.
It's Detective Douche, but
it is Douche. Excuse me, I didn't see the D. How do you choose which line will become the title of each episode?
So, great question. Sometimes we have it in mind early on. Sometimes we find it in the script. There are times where we go through the script and have a list of 5 options, and there are times where we'll add a line of dialogue after the script is written to get a good title in there because we feel like we don't have a good title.
There you go.
Thank you for letting Chloe kick Michael's ass.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I'm so glad somebody pointed that out.
We were so happy to be able to do that. Because so much of it was, too. It's she's a bit of a pawn in all of this, and we wanted to end it on her actually being the one beating the living shit out of Michael. That felt right. It felt so much of what we always are looking at is Chloe's agency and making sure that she's really driving story and driving action, but it's tough when she's a human. And so realizing in that moment that we had this object that could make her super strong was a real discovery and a real exciting moment because Lauren doesn't get to kick ass on her show as much as we'd like, and that was fun. I guess. Will you ever explain the mojo swap in 507? I would like to explain that right now because there was no mojo swap. Lucifer thought it was a mojo swap, but what ended up happening was she thought she was mojoing people when in reality all she was doing was drawing out Lucifer's desires. Lucifer was making himself vulnerable to her. Everyone else was a coincidence that she realized later. So she didn't get Lucifer's mojo. What happened is Lucifer's mojo went on the fritz because he self-actualizes. And in that moment, he wanted to be vulnerable around Chloe to the point where he actually became afraid of being vulnerable around Chloe and shut down. So the mojo swap was actually a bait and switch. It was actually just Lucifer himself malfunctioning.
Let's see here.
Did the Tree of Life have any significant meaning to the story? What we wanted was something that could take a couple whacks from the Flaming Sword because it's supposed to be able to cut through anything. And we felt if one thing could, it would be the Tree of Life. And then if anyone would wield it, it would be the Angel of Righteousness. And so that we sort of worked backwards from that is we needed a weapon formidable. And I like that what a lot of people have noticed is it's staff versus sword. It's defensive versus offensive. Wanted Lucifer to have a weapon that was not just used for war, but could be used for peace.
That was cool. Absolutely, man. People keep asking about Charlie's mortality. And how is he mortal? What, you know?
I mean, he is where he is right now.
Will Chloe have side effects after being resurrected?
Interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh yeah, no, yeah. And here's another one. Did we say goodbye to Lucifer's devil face in season 5?
Interesting question.
Very good. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. Will we see Maze's demon face again?
Good question.
All right.
Wait, there was a good one that I just saw.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Why did God blow Dan up? One of my favorite moments of season 5B is God exploding Dan. And I think it's because he was sleeping with his ex-wife. Some things are very basic, but he put them together. He put them back together.
Let's see. Yeah, people keep asking, will we see Dexter flying together?
That's probably because it would be a really iconic thing to see.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it up there for you to say that. Exactly.
No, that sounds like a really cool thing to see.
That might be a final scene in my perspective. And again, that's me saying this. So yeah, whatever. But yeah.
Maybe, that might be cool.
Is Dad not omnipotent when it comes to his kids? Deliberately, maybe?
I think that is a wonderful question. And I think it's very interpretable. To me, God is omniscient, but at the same time, there are different paths they can go down. So in my headcanon, he knows every path, but he still pulls himself back a little bit to that point to allow his children to not necessarily surprise him, not surprise him because he knows that is a path, but surprise him on which path they choose.
Trixie made Charlie laugh in 501 before Lucifer showed him his silly devil face. Does that mean Trixie is celestial?
I think Charlie just likes either really cute children or devil faces. So,
let's see here. What is this? Does Lucifer's character change after becoming God? He's being kind of majestic at the end of 5-2, I suppose.
He was.
5-16.
I'll dodge the first part of that question and say, to me, a large part of the way he was acting was his self-actualization and self-awareness of his love for Chloe and the peace that he found within that. So that is not necessarily him exuding God. It's more to me about the journey he went on and the peace that he found.
Will we see Dennis again?
Good question.
Excellent. Someone's asking, who was God praying to in the family dinner scene when they were praying? I like that.
That's season 7. Great question.
I understand. How did Zadkiel
know the lyrics to Hammer Time? All right, I'll tell you my in-canon version, which is that Zadkiel has revealed in this moment that he is actually much more interested in the human world than we ever knew. The truth is that Joel, the actor, knew the lyrics incredibly well, and we just thought that was hilarious, and it would be really surprising if Zadkiel, of all people, jumped in. So that was not planned, but he knew the song so well, and we were like, oh, that's funny, because no one would expect it from him.
Why wasn't Rory around for the big fight?
That's an interesting question. Was there significance of Michael's wings being cut off? Yes. It's Lucifer learning to forgive others as he wishes to be forgiven, while also, I think, a nice thematic parallel to Lucifer cutting off his own wings and giving Michael the same path he went on, for better or worse.
Will Chloe remember Lucifer saying I love you? Because she seemed like she found it hard to remember what was happening on Earth.
Yes. Let's end on that one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. All right, there you go, bud.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome.
Hey, seriously, you bombarded us with questions so quickly. Half the time when I was putting something up, it jumped to another question. So well done, and excellent questions. And Joe, as always, great hangout.
Crazy fun.
Come back. We'll talk more Shadecraft if you want, as when the arc finishes.